Our first speaker is someone I know quite well, you know. I don't get a chance to often talk about how incredible my mom is, but she is truly great in every sense of the word. She founded Kulture Community Center in 2008, the same year my brother was born, and it has grown into something so much larger than any one of us. She is truly a pillar of the community. She is a mother and a mentor, not just to me, but to dozens of kids across the state. She does it all while being one of the kindest people you'll ever meet, so I'm incredibly happy to introduce to the stage Archana Athlye.
Thank you, Arjun. Some of the nicest words he said to me in a very long time. And since I'm vertically challenged, I'm going up there.
My American adventure began on January 19th, 2003, when I landed, all of 29 years old, at JFK Airport on a freezing January night, dressed in a bright red sweater, which my husband Rishi ensured me is enough for a New York winter. It so wasn't. My heart was heavy though, heavier than that winter cold at that time, because I had left behind a thriving life, a social life filled with friends, family, and a buzzing career in Mumbai's entertainment industry. Growing up, I'd had a pretty idyllic childhood. My mother, one of the few strong women I knew, she was the first bank manager in the entire Pune district. And later on in her 50s, she reinvented herself as a very successful entrepreneur and a jewelry designer. And then again in her 70s as a yoga coach and a spiritual coach. So she and her friends influenced my worldview about strong women. So in my world, women chaired meetings and invented stuff in laboratories and ran businesses, all wearing crisp saris and bangles and a bindi. So when the Western media portrays Indian women only in one light, I'm not saying there's not work to be done, but these stories don't come to light, right? Like for me, women have always played such an important part in nation building, in entrepreneurship, especially small business entrepreneurship, and pretty much every other field. But when you're listening to what the media has to say, it's usually one-sided. That always bothered me. And I try to change that through all the work that I do through Kulture. But moving on with my story. I pretty much earlier on graduated towards the arts. I used to perform at Ganesh festival events in my community, at school plays, at every choir that was available in my school. And then later on, with a media and communications degree, I joined the Mumbai entertainment industry as an artist and repertoire manager in well-known firms like EMI Records, at Star Plus, and many film production companies. My work took me all over India, Southeast Asia, and Africa. And then came marriage and America. So I resisted it actually for a very long time. I was reluctant to give up my career. But life has a way of pushing you towards things that you've not planned for. And I took it as an adventure. My first few months in the US were confusing. I was constantly told I should be lucky that I'm here, but I really didn't feel that way. I had an H4, I couldn't work. But I pretty soon got my work permit. I think I must have been the last few visas approved before the backlog started. But even after getting that visa, my extensive experience in entertainment in India did not translate to similar opportunities in the US. So I had a couple of options. Either I give up that thought, either I give up my creative work and switch over to an admin job or a tech job, or find a way for myself. I decided to do the latter. So I started a firm called One World Entertainment, through which we brought artists from India, big names like Shubha Mudgal, Indian Ocean, Raghu Dikshit, Ajay Pohankar, lots of classical artists, for concert tours throughout USA. And then when Arjun was about 4 years old, came a new idea. We were just back from a trip to India, and he was thrilled with this show called Saregama Little Champs, if you guys know. And he came and said that I want to start learning to sing like those little kids on Saregama Little Champs. So like a devoted mother, I started looking for a class in Hindustani classical music. So we live in North Jersey. And I really couldn't find anything nearby. There were some people who were teaching out of their basements in Edison. There were some classes happening at the temple. And that was not what I had in mind for him. Because throughout my work in India, I had visited big art institutions like Kalakshetra in Chennai, or Darpana Academy in Ahmedabad, or Nrityagram in Bangalore. And I was thinking of that. Like, I want an arts institute like that for my son. And when I couldn't find that, I said, why not I start one? So, because I already through my work knew artists who were living in New Jersey. We have some amazing artists who live in our area, but because of lack of opportunities, they are doing day jobs, right? Like they're doing day jobs, on the weekends they perform. So I got together all these artists, said, we have this idea, would you be interested? And they said, we'd love to teach. So I got together a couple of friends. Arjun was 4 years old, Ameya was just born. And we put together a business plan. We pooled in our savings and we signed a lease, a 10-year lease on a 1,500 square foot studio. We had no idea if this idea was going to work. We had no prototype. There was nothing like that before us. And we literally put all our eggs in one basket. We did everything ourselves. We put down the floors, the dance mirrors. Our families helped us. And for the open house, I remember we had this big party planned. All our teachers were there, day-long activities, and 3 people showed up. I went home that night thinking, have I made the biggest mistake of my life? Did I overestimate what is possible in this area? But we didn't give up. We carpooled from then onwards because one of the biggest problems was parents were saying, we have nobody to take our kids. So we'll take your kids. So I would drive my minivan everywhere, picked up kids, took them for classes. We offered free trial classes. We gave flyers in pretty much all communities. By the end of the first month, we had 20 students. By the end of the first year, we were breaking even. And 16 years later now, we have more than 500 students, over 4 centers. With a 5,000 square foot facility, multiple classrooms, a black box theater. And we reach thousands of students more through school assemblies, cultural education programs, workshops through towns. We are all over New Jersey. And we do a little bit of work in New York. That's only because of my restrictions on how much I can travel. There's just a lot of work in New Jersey. But that's my scaling up that I have to figure out. So, the work has been really progressing year by year. I see so many of our students right here. There's Ruchika and, Priyanka's here. And over the years, my partners moved away because they wanted more lucrative opportunities. But for me, this work was what really, really drove me. And when students come to me and said, Miss Archana, today I went to my teacher and told her how to pronounce my name correctly. I told her it is not Yash, it is Yash, and it rhymes with Rush. That really brings me because that's what we practice in class. And then when teen student says, Miss Archana, I've decided to wear a sari for my graduation this year. So, those are facts that feel I'm doing something right. I am creating identity and inclusion for our students. Our mission at Kool is twofold. I want to elevate Indian classical arts and Indian arts to the same status as Western arts. And second, I want to help our children build confidence and resilience through the use of arts. My message to all of you today is very simple. Please support the arts. Choose to send your children to an Indian dance class or Indian music class instead of another ballet class. Choose to send them to a culture class instead of another sport. You support local artists, not just big Bollywood stars. Bollywood is great. I love Bollywood too. But it's like coming for an Indian feast and stopping only at the samosas. There's an entire feast laying ahead. Let's move on. So, also, try and understand the length and breadth. We are inheritors of one of the most vibrant cultures in the world. And it is up to all of us to know more and learn more about it. So that red sweater I wore on that first night in New York might not have given me much warmth, But all the years, the love of culture, community, and my family has kept me warm since. So thank you so much. Thank you, Neha, for inviting me, and I hope all of you can get to follow your bold IndiXspark story. Thank you so much.